I'm outside today playing with crepe myrtle cuttings. Don't really remember how we found out about it, but somewhere my brother had done some research and found that folks up in the Carolinas were smoking with crepe myrtle cuttings with I think it was wild pigs or something on the gamey variety, and it would cut down on the gaminess, and it also provides a really nice pink ring around your smoke. But what I'm going to do today is show you something I just kind of figured out the hard way about skinning this. Oh, why do you want to skin it? Well, if you're going to smoke with it, again, I don't remember how we came upon this, but you're supposed to peel it and get all the skin off of it before you use it to smoke, and you need to do that while it's green. And this was cut yesterday, and I'm going to show you what I did, or what I'm doing to do this. So this is the last piece that I have cut from my brother's house that I haven't skinned, and this is just a knife. It is fairly sharp. A dull knife is useless. But when peeling this, when I started this, it was more of a whittling action of, pushing the blade down the wood. Get it from your perspective, so I could get these long strips up, and kind of like I was, peeling a potato or peeling a carrot or something along those lines. Now, like I said, this was just cut yesterday, so it's still green, still supple. And what I found, you can see what it leaves behind. I want to get down to that kind of yellowish. The white is still bark, and then the red that it leaves behind I think is probably okay, but we want to get down to that yellow, and it's going to oxidize very, very quickly, and it's going to turn white, and it's going to look more like this. So you can see what the yellow started off looking like. So instead of pushing your knife blade down to try to lift the skin, you end up with some of the meat of the crepe myrtle, which, this is a small piece. This is the last piece that I'm going to have. I want to get as much of it as I possibly can. So instead of trying to, shave this off, and I'm definitely not going to, pull it toward me and do this. And you can see that you don't get that much because it's a flat blade. There's some geometry involved. There's a very flat blade that is coming in contact with a very, very, very small amount. Because I'm outside, there's neighborhood noise. A very small amount of the bark at a time, and it goes very slowly because if you're pushing, you don't want to push it, or you end up in a knot, or you don't drag it back because you don't want it going into your hand or into your face or in your eye. So what I figured out was, instead of doing this with the knife, I'm going to do this with the knife. So here's a piece that is unskinned, and instead of shaving off the skin with the blade, I'm just going to drag the blade perpendicularly, back and forth, very, very quickly. See, that works fairly well. Oops. Works fairly well. Let's see. It's still green, very supple, and you get to that unskinny, meaty part very, very quickly. And when you get to uneven parts that maybe around the knots and whatnot, this method works really well for cutting into those hard to get to spots. I mean, that was a knot right there. That's a knot right there. They're little, but still. Just pulling that off to get it out of the way. And then, you know, even around this big knot, just gonna use my tripod to hold it. Still having it perpendicular against the wood in a very small motion. Use the tip, and they're pretty close. Goes pretty quick. And let the shavings fall where they may. Do long strokes. Do short strokes. And you know, that looks pretty good. So if you would like to try adding some flavor and or color to your smoking, you can use crepe myrtle. If somebody's got a crepe myrtle in their yard, they're going to trim it usually once a year in the winter. And they have a lot of cuttings left over. I've got an electric smoker. I do a mixture of hickory and pecan, half and half. I say half and half. Then I put a couple of pieces of crepe myrtle on top. And the crepe myrtle, like I said, gives you that red, nice red ring around the meat, which I'll show you. Pecan adds some sweetness, in my opinion. And I grew up on hickory smoked everything, so I'm going to put hickory in everything. Not a fan of mesquite. And that piece, while I was talking to y'all, I, skinned that much of it. Oops, fairly quickly. I'm going to finish this up, and I will tell you more about the smoking. So, I always think safety third, or safety third. Third? Not West Coast, not East Coast, but 3. 1, 2, 3. Talking about peeling this and talking about not pulling the knife blade to you. You know, it can run into you, and when you push it away, it can, go off into the nether. And I've actually had a knife fly out of my hand. Don't ask me why. But anyway, with the knife blade perpendicular, if I were to run into my thumb, that's all it's going to do. But I can still get bark off fairly quickly. So, if you're taking your time, I mean, this piece is actually kind of fun to peel because it wants to peel that far. But after that, blade and get lots of fuzzies. This has to be green. So anyway, if you're having somebody who's not very skilled with a knife, I'm not claiming to be skilled with a knife, but I've been around a lot of knives. I use them in the kitchen. I was a Boy Scout. I don't know. I've got a lot of experience with a knife, I would have to say. But if you got somebody who's unskilled with a knife, this is a really good method because there's less impact, or less occurrence, that's the word I was looking for injury. And if they've got a long enough stick, that's leg length, and they can hold it way back here. I've actually got it tucked up under my arm. I can work on this piece out here, around this curve, over that knot. Nice clean white versus the green lichen based or laced or heavy exterior that it started off with. Oh, so here's a little piece right here, little nubbin, perpendicular, scrape, 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 and the bark is gone. I don't know, I'm having fun with this. It's the first time I've ever skinned crepe myrtle. All that I've had before, my brother provided to me, and it was pre-skint. I think I have a picture from a text where his pile of shavings is probably on his carport. Here's the end to end. You can always go one direction if you wanted. You can tell I'm not being very careful, or what's the word? Not very elegant. I'm not going to focus all that well. You can see that it has removed the bark. Again, keeping the knife blade perpendicular. Actually kind of leaning it away from me a little bit. It's just going to be hard to hold, but there's some right here that I'm just going to drag my knife blade through, and I have, if you've watched, I've run into my thumb multiple times while doing this, and no bloodshed. Around the knot, and you can see how sticky the sap is. And I want to clean the knife. This one is fairly thick, full tang, I think that's what it's called. Knife through the handle bit. And cleaning this, I'll show you how I clean it with some awesome stuff from the Dollar Tree here in just a second. Gonna finish this up. So, my neighbors are having a yelling fit. So I've skinned these pieces, 5 pieces, both about leg length, which is, I don't know, what, 3 feet long. The knife is kind of gummy from the sap, and this is the stuff I was telling you about. It's actually in a better spray bottle than what it comes with in the store. But just to demonstrate, here it is, a little spray, and you can see the sap come right off, all that brown right down here at the edge. It's actually kind of rolling up. Cleans up pretty quick. And if you add a little abrasive like a green scrubby or a scrub puff that you might have by your sink, not hard, just a little bit. You don't need a lot. This has got a chunk out of it. Then you can go through this fairly quickly. In this case, I'm just using my fingernail. And on the other side, ooh, look at the brown that ran over. And just from where it has run, from the other side, drip, 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 drip. That's the sappiness. And it comes right off. It cleans up fairly nice. Ooh. Oh yeah, the gunk that might have been on it. It's coming right up. Anyway, it's called LA's Awesome. I think I've talked about it before. Get it at the Dollar Tree. It's a great degreaser.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.
Too many hobbies, not enough time.
It's a theme song, y'all.